So first thing I did was take a shower, super hot, went right to bed. Now my bed was up against the wall, and if you've ever been inside a military barracks room, at least for the Navies, we all get these little 4.5, 5 foot refrigerators that aren't really big enough for anything, just, to put real in there. But it's just a small little refrigerator, but they're all exactly 5 feet tall. And as I was laying there asleep, it was daylight outside, and in Japan, it stays overcast a lot. And it was the winter time. It was in January, and Japan gets very cold. I was laying in bed. Finally, jet lag had kicked in. I couldn't sleep. So finally, I fell asleep. I don't know how long I'd been asleep. I was in a very, very deep sleep, but something actually woke me up out of my sleep. I was actually facing towards the wall. And when it woke me up out of my sleep, I slowly turned, looking to my left, and standing beside the refrigerator was this shadow. Shadow of a humanoid shadow was by the refrigerator. It was exactly the same height as the refrigerator, and it was probably 12 feet away from me. And it was just standing there. And something, I don't know what, rolled me back over, and I went to sleep. And that was in January 6th. I didn't think anything of it. As a matter of fact, I just went back to sleep, and it didn't bother me or nothing. I woke up, and then poof, started doing Navy stuff. Never even thought about it. 6 months later, right? I finally went through the 50 department, got assigned a team or a section at the time. We used to work this shift called 2-2-96, where you would work 2 12-hour days, have a day and a half off, 2 12-hour night shifts, and you would have 4 days off, right? I'd settled into my section. My section was a bunch of cool, great guys working in the skiff full time, doing intel stuff. And a lot of people like to think that we're always doing some type of high level, high speed, Jason Bourne, saving the world. It's not even close to being like that. We have a lot of downtime. And there is nothing more dangerous than 12 military guys at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with little to no supervision and not a lot to do. So we used to cut up a lot. And so we were in the skiff. The skiff was massive. It's one of the biggest ones I've ever been in. And we were just sitting around talking. And one of the guys that was in there, they started making fun of him. I'm not going to say his name, but because I haven't spoken to him in a while. And you'll see why as the story goes. And they're like, go ahead. Tell us your story. Tell us your story. Tell everybody that story about your shadow friend, your shadow that follows you around everywhere. That's literally what they were telling this guy, right? He was like, F you guys. I'm telling you, man, y'all don't believe me. This is a problem. This thing, I can't even, it's all over me, is what he's telling them, right? So they were laughing and goofing and just cutting up, right? So I'm just sitting there. I didn't say anything. He got up, he left, went back. Some guys were playing cards or whatever. He went back to the maintenance section. So as soon as he left, I got up and I went back there with him. And I was like, hey man, what are these guys talking about with this shadow thing? What are they talking about? And he's like, yeah, man, it's nothing. But I said, hey, look, man, I saw a shadow man in my room, and his eyes lit up like you would not believe. He got super, super, super big eyes. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And it was funny because he was in room 107. And in the military, it's basically odds and evens. My hallway side was 111, 19, 107, 105. You get it. 103. It just goes down the list, right? And my mirror across the way would be 112, 110, 108. But he was on my side of the hallway in the L section of the barracks that we were in. So I had told him the story. I woke up, I looked over by the refrigerator, and there was a shadow man. He proceeds to tell me that he was having problems with this shadow things around him. And he wasn't the only one. There was another guy in there that was in room, I think 103, again, on that side of the barracks, who was having problems. So I said, yeah, man, that's crazy, bro. I said, he's like, have you seen it since? I'm like, nah, man, I just saw it that one time, man. And I just hope, it's like, you know what, man, but I believe you is what it is. And I was like, all right. And again, I'm no hero. I'm no champion. I'm a junior guy on this section. I was the youngest guy at my command. I was the youngest guy, still 18. So went back, nothing happened. Literally, I don't know if my conversation with him or what was some type of catalyst, but literally within about a week or 2 weeks, other strange things started happening to me. I was dating girls at the time. They would come over to stay in the barracks with me. They would say something would be pulling their hair, or they would say that they couldn't sleep at night because something was making these noises. It didn't really bother. I never even noticed it. It never messed with me. My hair has never been that long. But I would also hear sometimes the locks on our lockers would sway. And I just, again, oblivious. I didn't think nothing of it. But then things started to progress. One night, I was in the room and I woke up. By then, one of the other roommates had transitioned out. So me and the other guy was there. We got along great. So we opened up the room completely. So we had a whole different layout in the room, except the refrigerator was in the same place. It's just how it was. That was the outlet. The refrigerator never moved. I was laying in bed. I woke up. Something woke me up. I look, but this time I'm in a sleep paralysis where before I could move, but this time I could not move. I was totally locked, but I could move my eyes. And I looked at the refrigerator and that shadow creature was there again. But this time he was about only 10 feet from where I was at. He was a little bit closer. He wasn't by the refrigerator. He was closer. And here's where it gets weird. He started making noises, and the noises that he made, and I'm going to try to, repeat this. The noises that he made literally sounded like this, not to be weird, but it was like, that's what it sounded like. A whisper with about 30 people trying to talk at the same time in a whisper, making like just these noises, right? And it sounded just like that. It was weird. It actually scared me. Before there was no noise, before I didn't think of it, before I didn't know this was a thing. Now I had spoken to this other guy. He told me this was a thing. I saw it and it scared me. My heart started pounding, right? I couldn't move. I'm sitting there gritting my teeth. It's the first time in my life I've ever experienced sleep paralysis, ever. First time ever. I didn't know what was going on. Finally, I fight my way out of it. I black out, or I just stop for a second. I blink, I come out of it, and it's gone.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.